guys, and welcome to today's video. Today I'm going to be showing you how to make a no-bake Kinder Cheesecake. Now this cheesecake is super easy to make, but it looks amazing and it tastes amazing. It has a buttery biscuit base, it has a smooth Kinder Cheesecake filling, and it's topped with the most amazing Kinder chocolate ganache as well. I'm going to give you all my tips and tricks on how to make it today. So if you're new, don't forget to subscribe, like this video, and let's begin. We're going to start by making our base. So I'm going to be using Digestive biscuits, but if you don't have Digestive biscuits where you're from, you could always use graham crackers. I'm going to be crushing them in a food processor here, but if you don't have a food processor, you could always use a bag and rolling pin. It's gone well. So I'm going to break these up and put them in our food processor. As usual, I'm going to have to do this in multiple batches because this isn't big enough. So first batch, I'm going to blitz these to a fine crumb. There we go, that looks good. So just make sure there's no large lumps of biscuits left. I'm gonna blitz the rest and then we'll be back. I've put our crushed biscuits in a medium mixing bowl here, and I'm gonna add in some melted salted butter. I prefer using salted butter because I think it tastes better, but you could always use unsalted butter if you prefer, or if that's all that you've got. Then you just mix these together until it resembles a wet sand. This Kinder Cheesecake recipe is actually one of my most popular recipes ever online. It has something like 120 million views on TikTok, which is crazy. So some of you may have seen this recipe before. Now that's fully combined, I'm gonna transfer it into our 8-inch tin here. So I'm lining it with a sheet of baking paper. This is a circle that's already pre-cut for me, which is very handy. Obviously, if you don't have these, you could just use a normal sheet of baking paper, trace around it, and then cut it out. It just makes it easier to release the base. So I'm gonna scoop the base into our tin here. This tastes amazing, by the way. You can sneak a little bit of it because it's really good, especially with the salted butter. And now we're just gonna spread this out nice and evenly and then press it down really firmly so it should be nice and compact. There we go, so that is nice and firm and smooth now. So I'm gonna set this aside in the fridge and we'll move on to the filling. Moving on to the filling, so I'm gonna start by melting some Kinder chocolate in the microwave. I've broken them up and put them in a little microwave safe bowl here. Some of the pieces may have gone missing. I don't take any responsibility for that. So they'll go in the microwave on a medium heat in about 1 minute bursts, stirring gently until melted. If you don't have a microwave, you could always do it in a double boiler. So we'll be back. So my chocolate had about 1 minute 20 in the microwave, and look how pretty it looks. It's like a little marble effect. So just stir that until it's nice and smooth. Make sure you've got no lumps of chocolate in there. And now I'm just gonna set this aside to cool because we don't want it to be piping hot when we add it into our cheesecake mixture. So now you're gonna grab a large mixing bowl and we're gonna be adding in our cream cheese. I'm using Philadelphia cream cheese. You just wanna make sure the one you're using isn't watery or too runny. So I'm gonna add that into our bowl. And it needs to be at room temperature as well. That's gonna help it mix more easily. I'm also gonna add in our icing sugar or powdered sugar if you're in the US. Grab your electric mixer and we're just gonna whisk these together until they're nice and creamy. There we go, that's nice and smooth. Make sure you don't over mix because it can go runny and then your cheesecake may not set properly. So just until it's lump free. Now, when your chocolate is cool enough, mine cooled down pretty quickly because it's quite cold in my kitchen right now, you can add it to the mixture. So you're just gonna pour that in. And now just whisk this in until it's smooth. Perfect. Now I'm gonna set this bowl aside and we're gonna whip our cream. Now you're gonna grab another large mixing bowl and we're gonna whip our cream to stiff peaks. So this is double cream, or you could use heavy whipping cream. Grab your electric whisk again, or you could do this by hand, but it's gonna take a while and it's gonna be a real workout, so I'd recommend. Okay, perfect. So they look like nice stiff peaks. Now I'm gonna transfer this into our cheesecake mixture. Also, can we just appreciate my new nails that I had done yesterday? I actually love them so much, and they pretty much match my apron. This was totally unintentional, but I feel like it's almost a perfect match. I've changed to my spatula now, and I'm just gonna fold in the whipped cream. I had to really stop myself from saying paddle every time. So the reason I'm folding this in with my rubber spatula rather than my electric mixer is because we just don't want to overmix, and we want to keep as much air in this mixture as possible. There we go, that is nice and smooth now, so let's go get our base. So I'm just gonna scoop our cheesecake onto our base here. I'm gonna start with a little bit, and then I'm gonna grab our spoon, and I'm just gonna push it out to the edges, as this is gonna stop us from getting those air bubbles around the edge. It's gonna make it nice and smooth. And then in with the rest of it. As you can see, this is nice and thick. So now just pressing this down and smoothing it out nice and evenly. There we go. So this is gonna go in the fridge overnight now. I would recommend at least 6 hours, but overnight is always best. So we'll be back to make the chocolate ganache. When your cheesecake is fully set, you're gonna make the toppings. So this is the Kinder Ganache. You need Kinder chocolate, which I've put in a jug here, and double cream, so it's literally just 2 ingredients. You're gonna pour the double cream over I was gonna say chocolate ganache, over the Kinder. And then we're just gonna melt this in the microwave, again, on a medium heat in 1 minute bursts, stirring until it all comes together and it's nice and smooth. So this had exactly 1 minute in the microwave, and then I've just let it stand for a couple of minutes to help the chocolate melt slightly further. Now I'm gonna start to slowly mix this together until it's nice and smooth. Make sure you don't go too quick, otherwise you can get lots of little air bubbles in it. There we go. So that is nice and smooth now, and it's fully combined. So I'm just gonna set it aside. We're gonna get our cheesecake out of the fridge, and then we'll pour it on top. So let's remove the cheesecake from the tin. Sometimes I run a knife around the outside of the cheesecake, but today I'm just gonna keep my fingers crossed, and I'm just gonna unclip it and just hope for the best. So wish me luck. Okay, let's lift this up. It's definitely taken a fair bit of cheesecake with it. Ugh, scraping it. I'm just gonna remove the paper from the base. The cheesecake should be firm enough that you can just pick it up and it's not gonna break. And then just place it onto our rack there. Now our ganache has cooled down slightly and it's thickened up a little bit too, which is exactly what we want. So I'm gonna pour this onto the cheesecake, and I'm gonna smooth it out, and I'm gonna let it drip down the edges a little bit as well. I do find this chocolate ganache is a bit gooier than other chocolate ganaches are. So it's just a slightly different texture. I'm just giving it a little shake just to encourage those drips and help the top flatten out so it's nice and silky smooth on top. But that is ready to go back in the fridge now. So I'm just gonna let the chocolate ganache set fully so it just stops moving, because the last thing we want is to pipe our decoration on and then for the ganache to keep moving, and then all of the toppings end up on the side. I'm speaking from experience. Anyway, this is gonna go back in the fridge for about 20 minutes and then we'll decorate. So I'm just gonna whip some cream to decorate our cheesecake with, because I'm gonna pipe some swirls around the edge of it. So double cream or heavy cream into a bowl and whisk to stiff peaks. Perfect, now I'm gonna pop that in a piping bag. So grab a piping bag, choose a nozzle. This one is a C4 tip. That goes in, push it back, snip off the end, ooh, and then press it down into the glass, pull it over, and now I need a spatula. And then you're just gonna place your cream into your piping bag until it gets risky, and then pull the piping bag up. And then fill up the rest. And then just squeeze that down, give it a little twist, and then you can grab this little sandwich bag clip and then just clip the top so you have something to grip onto and it's not gonna let it come up the top. I've just transferred our cheesecake onto a large serving plate, and now I'm just gonna pipe big swirls of whipped cream around the edge. Now I've got some chopped up Kinder pieces and I'm just gonna place these into some of the gaps. There we go. I'm so happy with that. So let's slice it up and let's do a taste test. Okay, let's taste it. I love a thick base on a cheesecake. I think it makes it so much better. The cheesecake is just so creamy. It's like subtle chocolatey. So it's not super chocolatey, but it's really creamy, kind of like a mixture of milk and white chocolate. And the cream on the top, the little Kinder pieces. The ganache is incredible. It's amazing. So I'm gonna go finish my slice of cheesecake. So I really hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, don't forget to like and subscribe. Let me know in the comments section what you'd like me to make next, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.